the starry sea, with a batlet held tight with glee. Hunt OPC, his battle cry. Stars and moons light up the sky. OPC hunt, OPC, through the cosmos wild and free. Romulans and foes we fight, community our guiding light. Battling communists with cheer, reduces courage, knows no fear. With every clash and mighty roar, victory's prize forevermore. OPC hunt, OPC, through the cosmos wild and free. Romulans and foes we fight, community our guiding light. Battle anchor ship does soar, reducing its heart and core. Galactic winds, they lead our course, unity our driving force. Our driving force. OPC hunts OPC, through the cosmos wild and free. Romulans and foes we fight, community our guiding light. Driving force.
Would really help if I unmuted my microphone, wouldn't it? That would be helpful to like unmute the thing I need to talk to y'all with. Hey, nobody ever said I was a professional. I said I was a professional. Nobody ever said I wouldn't lie to you. My bad. Love y'all. Welcome in. It's Wednesday. If y'all not sure what day that is, that's the middle of the week. And that means it's time to announce a surprise. No, hopefully not a surprise. Oh, no, a surprise for some. Maintenance. Maintenance coming. Another one. Yes, another maintenance coming. Woo! It'll be from me tonight at 3 a.m. So it'll be technically Thursday morning, 3 a.m. Your time will vary. This is on their Discord page, and I know a lot of people get annoyed that I mention Discord so much, and part of the reason I mention Discord so much is honestly they're the ones who use it for a lot of their public communications and a lot of their stuff. And I do agree, by the way, if anybody's about to say anything, I absolutely agree that they should have just as much communication in game as they do outside of game. You're not going to get me to disagree on that point, but there you go. If you missed it, maintenance tomorrow. There are going to be a few different things launched. The main things that we're going to focus on today are the things that I can actually talk about, such as the territory changes. There's a lot of changes happening to territory. In fact, the services are moving all over the place. I posted that in my Discord. What was it, yesterday? Here, I'll show that to y'all. It was the 14th, so it was 2 days ago. Well, look at me being on top of things. Rotate again. Here you go. It's a full list of all the things that are changing. So, for example, Bamasa is adding the PvP Apex Barrier Enhancer and the Advanced Phantom Generator, but removing the Advanced Quantum Generator. Yes, that means currencies are moving into different spots on the map. So, there you go. We got a whole list of things that are changing and moving. And we can go over those today as well. And if y'all need this list and you're outside of Discord, which I get there are people there, I do try to make things as accommodating as possible. Let me know. We can forward you this list if you and your alliance want to prepare. Also, not to constantly promote other people's work, but honestly, a lot of other people do amazing stuff. Territory.lol is also tracking all of this. If you use that player tool. And for example, here is, I'm just going to use our Discord messages. Hope you don't mind, Gherkin. But here's an example of the befores and afters. So that's old, and the new, you see the gradients getting added. That is where the colors are from and going to, like what they're switching to. So again, all these things can be passed around. Anyway, good day to everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. It's great to see you. Shout out to the people who have shout out their servers. Good to see you. I saw 178, 201, 44, 168, 95, 76, 44, etc. Saw a lot of them here. Good to see y'all. Yeah, we'll just get started. It's gonna be a busy one because not only do we have territory stuff to go over, which I know a lot of people have questions about. Also, and I know I hit y'all with a lot of surveys. I've also honestly thought about doing less surveys. I've only been doing like once a month, but I don't know, I feel like people have probably are getting tired of surveys, but at the same time, they're important. This one being one that I've tried to make not only condensed for y'all, but also hopefully getting the best information possible about PvP arenas. If you haven't done this survey, I would ask, please do that. Just because I want to get an opinion on what everybody thinks, and it is very different than what a lot of people probably think it is. So far, at least, there's been like 900 people who have done it. And I think I launched this like 18 hours ago. So it's pretty impressive so many of y'all have done it so quickly. But again, I talked about in yesterday's video, we go over your ops ranges, that's normal. But just a straight up, did you enjoy arenas? 1 through 5 stars. The best and worst parts, you can tell me what they are specifically. Whether you felt like things were explained well, whether you find value in the Terran Empire rewards, what times are best for you, and if any of the modes that I've been suggesting you find beneficial. And then last but not least, your answer on just detailed feedback. You can write a whole paragraph and I'm reading every bit of it. So thank you. Was anyone able to do arena? Yes, a lot. In fact, I actually said, and I don't expect everybody to watch every video, so I'll just repeat what I said in yesterday's video. About 30% of all players who could participate, as in they're in the appropriate level range and everything, participated in the PvP arenas, right? 30%. And considering it was in a short 8-hour time frame on all regions, everything, it's pretty impressive by comparison, just to actually have an apple to compare this apple to. 20% is how many did Alliance tournaments that had the ability to do Alliance tournaments. Like they were in range for Alliance tournaments. 20% did. You had 10% more do a PvP mechanic. And pretty wild and crazy. And that includes Europe, Erwin. Like we tracked, shout out to Chrono with STFC statistics. We tracked where everybody participated. You know, so wild. Artalax says, what happened to the new territory battle pass starting on Tuesday with the server merges happen to be on the 28th of October? That's exactly what it is. There are server merges on the 28th of October. It should be noted, and this is the type of stuff that never gets like said by overlords, but a lot of the mergers that we're getting on the 28th were actually supposed to happen in September, but they got pushed back to October. So yeah. So that's caused some issues. And then obviously you have maintenance, which is resetting territory tonight, but the new season doesn't start until next week, the 22nd of October, which is going to be next Tuesday. So a lot going on. Also, wait, did they put the news in here after I just griped? Oh, well, look at that. I'm you know what? Heck yeah. Go team. Look at them. Look at that. I just griped at them and I didn't even know. That's my fault. I'm the problem. I'm the toxic. I'm the problem. That was on me. What does participate mean? Actually completing matches in your team for 5 seconds. No, Jerry, here's how we pulled participating. Those who scored on the leaderboard, period. You actually had to go in and do it. Scoring on the leaderboard. So we weren't doing some like half-ass tracking. We're like, oh, well, this person was awake during arena, so they count. Nope. We weren't tracking like who hit a hostile during the arenas to see who might have been awake. No, specifically who scored in the SLB. Just like we've been using to track things like ship sales for the Vindicator and the NSCA, how we tracked activity in Alliance tournaments. And again, I expect people to be shocked, but this had a very high participation rate. So, yeah. Arenas need cloaking. We actually talked about that during a stream that I was doing for Twitch. The problem with cloaking is because, remember, there's a time limit on one, how long an arena match can last, 10 minutes. And then there's also the armadas are very, very short timers. Almost everybody's cloak is longer. So you have some players who've got cloaks, 8, 9, whatever minutes. You'd never be able to get them out of the system, and then they could just sit there on the armadas and cloak and insta score. So I get there being a drawback. So they would need to change things if they wanted to find that to be more accommodating. And Jerry, keep in mind that the US had the same time frame that the EU did for the most part, but I'm not arguing that the time frames are great. I'm just arguing that even with the 8-hour, oddly placed, in many of our opinions, time frame, had very high activity rates. So be very curious to see what adjustments they make based on said feedback. I personally am not a fan of big major PvP events running on a Monday in the middle of the day. I'm not. Can I do them? I can work around and do that if I wanted to. I know that I don't represent everybody. How many people out there get to work from home at their computer? Not many. So I would love to see it moved around, right? But even then, you still had a lot of people. I mean, you're talking tens of thousands of people participating, and I was surprised by the amount participating. I honestly thought with the time, you might only have 5,000 people, and that wasn't the case. But please, nobody interpret me saying that as saying that there aren't things that can be better or changed with this, because there 1,000% are, right? There are plenty of things that I would improve upon, change, etc. I just think that it's, dare I say quietly, the best feature to roll out this year. I mean, in terms of stability and everything, it was not what we're used to this year. It actually worked, but long way to go before I call it a great product. So, also says awesome. Another away team BP event 3 days in a row. Oh, away teams are fun. Yeah. Well, that's what we have our away teams preloaded for, right? Everybody preloads their away teams. Everybody. And by the way, if y'all have any questions, because I know we immediately jumped into arenas. I know arenas have been the hot button topic, but don't feel like we can't bring up what we were talking about before, which is territory. I want both of those topics to be readily available for everybody to talk about, because they're both going to be affecting everybody. So if y'all, for example, had a question about if your territory service in Tefkari, I'm looking over here. If you're wondering why is Rev randomly staring off the screen, because we'll get my screen on Discord over here for the list we have of all the services that are changing. If you have questions about this, yeah. When is mirror going to be fixed? So Joseph, don't know why they didn't say this publicly, but they've told other people this, that this patch is supposed to help with that. Now, maybe they don't want to commit to that, because if they do and it doesn't fix it, that's a problem. But it's supposed to be this patch tonight that is going to fix the mirror universe, Joseph, and allow you to do those waves again. I don't know if there's a reason they're not saying that publicly, like on the official Discord, but that's supposed to be getting fixed. Like, the engineers figured out the fix this past week, from what I was told, and then that should be rolling out tonight. If that isn't the case, well, just blame Rev. But what I'm under the belief of. Debbie says, my small lower strength alliance managed several wins. Only issue was our 2 level 50 plus guys couldn't join. Yeah, so there's a +7, -7 from the leader that can participate. So if you've got, say, a player that's 52, then you have to have at least a player 45 launching the arena for them to be able to join in. And yeah, there was a lot of matchmaking problems, that whether it be for being able to actually join or not being able to find opponents, that needs to be sorted when it comes to arenas. One of the things that I've suggested is running a 3v3 version. That would help a lot of our higher level players be able to find matches, because it would require them to do and find less. And then also potentially help smaller level alliances as well. If you have that instance where, okay, you've got a couple of 50s that can't really do anything, well, not needing 5 makes that easier. We'll see what they end up doing. These are all feedback points that I'm going to gather and then try to get to the overlords. I know I do mostly shorter surveys. I'm actually going to leave this survey open probably throughout the month, but I anticipate most people to participate in the feedback in the first like 48 hours, and then I'm going to take the results to the overlords. But I'm actually going to leave it up for October, because if you remember, another one of these is running next week. So more opportunity to gather feedback and see what people think. And I've said this before. If y'all think that it was awful, like if you're a level 65 and you think you're from the US and you thought it was awful, please say that. Like, go ahead. Only the top 3 questions are required, but I would really appreciate if you answered all of them. But if you thought it was the greatest thing of the year, give it a 5. Just put whatever. If you are a player who's like, hey, I think it's a good mechanic, but the times were terrible, and you rank it a 2 or a 3, and you say make the times better, that's also completely fine. Put it on whatever you want to. You know, and as I've said before, the reason that these are important because they're not going to make big adjustments a week after they ran it the first time. It's just not going to happen. But if you can get this type of feedback to them early, that means long term you can see changes. So John says the US 65 was fun, gave it a 4. There you go, John. There you go. Patch says, do they need more feedback to fix bugs, not create more of a patch? Patrick, I've said this before, and I'm not trying to be rude to you, but I know you've heard it. They are not ever going to stop releasing content, so stop asking for it. Look, I get as a player, I'm a player too, why you're saying that, but it's not going to happen, so it's pointless to say it. Don't bother saying it. That's not going to happen, ever. Until the game stops, right? Like when the game reaches maintenance mode, then sure, and then the game will just persist as a vanilla version of itself for however long. Then you won't be getting any updates. So, won't be getting any updates. Let's see. Skeeve says, does seem like a weird time to reset territory. Should have been yesterday. So they're doing it with the patch. I can't, like, I'm not saying I agree with that as a method. It is what it is. It is a little weird to me. Why not just reset territory when you're actually doing the new season, which is next Tuesday, the 22nd of October. But it is what it is. If y'all did not see that announcement, you do have maintenance night and territories resetting after this maintenance. So I guess they just decided to bundle it all together. So territory reset when mergers come up. Yeah, if your servers merge, you will reset territory. So, can you say how the territory reset is going to go? Can we recap territory starting tomorrow? Only next week when the new season starts. To my knowledge, you should be able to capture it now if you want to. Could be wrong. I have not heard back. I did reach out with a couple of those questions this morning to try to verify those things and have not heard back. Let me check my Discord and see if that's happened since we've been streaming. And the answer is no. Has not. So, and Chrono, what is this that you just sent me? What is this you just sent me? Something I need to share with people? I just see that you sent something. That's okay. You distracted me. I have no idea why you sent me the invasion stuff. But anyway, cool. Good to see you, Chrono. Good to see you. And I'll get back in chat because I don't want to miss anybody. Matt, well, that link does not do that. But Chrono, no offense to you, obviously you do amazing stuff. Territory.lol is the easiest mechanic for tracking territory stuff. Unless you combined with territory and y'all made them all into one website. Maybe that'd be cool. But I've yet to find anything that's as good for tracking territory stuff and organizing territory stuff as territory LOL. But the link you sent me had nothing to do with territory. I don't know if you know that. Probably missed a button there. Yo, Andrew, good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Sugar Fat Man says, I played Arena with my Ops 46 alt, and I'd prefer a 3v3 mechanic to have it running 24 hours. My Alliance mates are usually waking up as I'm going to bed. The 8-hour window isn't enough. And this was brought earlier. I actually got a DM before stream, and it was talking about how, they were asking, didn't Scopely learn anything? This was what they said, so I'm just quoting them, with the 6-hour incursion windows. Because if y'all remember, incursions had really big feedback when they went to these 6-hour windows they tried to test. It's that's a fair point. At the same time they're making the decision, I don't know why. I hate that I don't have more that I can add to this. I get it. I personally would also like more than 8 hours. If y'all weren't there, Obsidian Hamster came on and said that there were tech limitations and stuff, reasons they were only doing it in 8 hours in this segment. We'll see. See, Chrono, look, and this is what I tell everybody. You got to keep it simple, because if I click your link and you say, look at this, and it ain't there, then it's not a good system. And I'm saying that as someone who is, awesome. You do great work. But yeah, that's not intuitive. It's not not intuitive. Yeah, man. Anyway, pop out. There we go. Where's my chat? Don't want to lose chat. Armada speed up timers work correctly is a nice fix. Sure, Jace, yeah. Yeah, Chrono, like, you should be able to link that directly if you're wanting to link territory. Like me, I'm going to assume everybody else is either lazy, dumb, or simply not familiar. Thus, I need it spoon-fed to me. And I say that in a polite way to people like myself. You know, it's I've learned this by doing all the other Star Trek tools. If it's not readily available, people are probably not going to be able to use it. You've got to have it right at their fingertips. And it is what it is. That's why I'm so big on territory, because it's a tool specifically for territory. But if you can find that and you can build that, that's awesome. All right, Chris says there needs to be a balance. If it's 8 hours, give more currency to win-lose. I think that's also fair, but I would really say that it, and I've said this from the beginning, I think 8 hours isn't enough. Like, I don't think that the answer should be increase currency and keep it 8 hours. Like, I'm not saying that's not an option. And I'm not even saying you're bad for suggesting that. But I don't want it to only be 8 hours. I would much rather it be like this 24-hour thing that we did, and we either didn't participate or did participate, but there was time and we can coordinate it, etc. I don't... You gotta be very careful with how you give feedback to Scopely, because if you give them multiple options, they might pick the option you didn't want them to pick, right? You only present them options that you are okay with them doing. Because what if they pick the one, like, you gave them options, but you were secretly like, well, I don't actually want this, but I'll give you multiple. And then you got it, right? So I guess if people really are okay with it, but I've just seen a lot of feedback saying they're not okay with that. And let me actually grab the feedback form. If we end up talking about arenas the entire time, that's fine. But I do want to continually bring up, FYI for those listening, territories. If you do have a territory question, feel free absolutely to speak on it. All right. So let's pull this up real quick. So here's part of the response we've had so far. Had, I think, 850 who have input their time preferences. So here are the time preferences that have been input so far from people across the game. The most prevalent time being 4 to 8 on Sunday, but then you see a lot of this green and purple. So like if you're going to do it in an 8-hour window, it would be 4 p.m. or 4 in the afternoon to midnight. That's what generally across the board is accepted. But you can see where most people are saying they're available, and there are some crazy folks who are available at the very wee hours of the morning. Respect to y'all. You're probably getting up early for work. So just shout out to y'all for, making sure that y'all know that I see y'all and that y'all's opinion is being recorded. But you can see the chunks where people are available the most, right? So I still got to go through all the different comments and everything, but whew, I don't feel like 8 hours is... I hate to even use the word acceptable, but I really feel like it's acceptable. If you really want people to engage, you need more opportunity to do that. But even with that, I was still impressed that 30% of the people who could participate in that window. And to think how much more it could be if you don't have that window. I mean, if you've got a broader window, how many more people would be participating in this mechanic? So, any updates, territory, or just a reset and restart? No, huge update, Mr. MD. Huge update. So all the territories, not all of them, but a lot of the territory services are moving, switching around. So I put this post in my Discord right here. So if you go to the post from the 14th of October, this is the list of every service that is changing. Now, you'll notice a lot of these are one-to-one. So like you're not getting just 10,000 things added. But for example, in Lenara, they're adding the Surax particle, taking away the Phantom. So like where territories typically had, for years, the same services for the particles, those are moving. Which I know has been a big thing that's been suggested for a long time, moving those around. I mean, this is going to guarantee movement. For any alliances that still are doing, especially mid-sized alliances, newer alliances, etc. For any alliances that still are big on particles, heck, my level 53 account is still big on particles. You're going to really want to pay attention to all the changes happening. So we got a full list. As you can see, it's a big drop down that y'all want to review. If you don't use Discord, I said this at the beginning of the stream, but I'll gladly use it again. If you need Discord or you don't have Discord and you need this and you're on Facebook or something else, let me know. We'll find a way to get it to you. So Yeah, it's more than just like they're resetting territory and setting it from scratch. Not only is it getting reset, but services are also moving in territory, meaning that you see some of the ones already, like y'all seen the PvP Apex barrier. You've seen the Voyager getting added at the beginning of this month, which I do think the Voyager getting added is great. More sourcing for our free-to-play players. But your generators getting moved is something that y'all are going to want to pay attention to. So there you go. Big old list of things getting moved around, which is kind of what honestly people have been asking for territory for a long time, to like actually refresh territory, like actually move things around, provide different services, move the buffs. I know that's feedback that I've witnessed for years now, and you're getting a full scale version of that. So do you think there should be more territory space to allow more alliances in? Joanne, if you're asking me for a blanket answer, because I'm not a good politician, I'm sure there's a very good political answer to give here. If you're asking me for a blanket answer, I'm going to just say no. I do understand that there are some servers, that higher pop servers, etc., that maybe have an issue. Most servers that I've experienced and talked to don't have an issue with alliances getting territory. Again, that is a general statement because that does not apply to 100%. But like you take server 20 as an example. Server 20 is an incredibly active server, especially given its age. Still has well over 2,000 active accounts on it. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 alliances with territory. I mean, that's a lot, right? Now, obviously, there's limitations. There's only 6 3-star territories in the game, stuff like that. But I don't think the number of territories is a problem for many servers. So my blanket answer would be no. I do understand that not all experiences are the same, though. So Sheehan says, pretty sure it was always supposed to changing services. They just never got it working until they started doing seasons. So that was something that was highlighted earlier on, Sheehan. I think you remember Old Man, who I think at that time went by Roy, talking about that way back in the day. And sure, but we have it now. And I just want to make sure everybody is, up to date on that and ready for it. So we're going to click, bam, and I got to finish this out because I got popped. Which is what happens when you adopt some red tags. You get popped a lot more. So Cal says, I'd be fine with the current structure of Arena. I just need a way to participate in it without leaving my alliance or trying to recruit people in that are in certain ops levels. Yeah, and that's where Kal-El, I'm hoping they consider things like 3v3 or even free-for-all to make that more possible. Highly allergic to political statements. Yes, I'm not really big on politics, but certainly don't want to start a politics discussion. But at the same time, there is something to be said for being able to deliver something in a political way, in that you say it so bland that it offends nobody while offending everybody at the same time. It's an art. It truly is an art form. So yeah, ref for LA governor? Absolutely not. No. Appreciate the endorsement, Tiberius, but no. Finally got 1,000 Prime Orbital medallions. What should I get with it? Wow, Chris, was not expecting that question for the day. So let me use that as an opportunity to pull up our Primes chart. If I can find it real quick. Let me pull up my Primes chart. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so it'll be down here at the bottom. Ooh, that one doesn't show very well. Let's see if this one does. Oh, that one doesn't either. Okay, let me move this around so y'all can actually see what I'm looking at. Yeah, I'll just put it up like this. Bam. All right, Prime Orbit Medallion. You see those ones on the bottom right? That is everything that you can get with Prime Orbit Medallions. All right, so if you've got 1,000 now, you've got a variety of choices. So one that I would say, especially if you're doing a lot of this PvP that has value, is Prime Critical Damage Floor. That has value if you're doing PvP right now. Especially if you're doing PvP Arena. I mean, if you do that and combine it with, you can actually do a maximum of 250% right now between Mirror Research, Primes, and Favors to keep your critical floor from dropping below a percentage. Obviously, the X-Borg is where you start with that. It's 100% Favor, and that means that in PvP, or hostiles, etc., your critical damage never drops below 100%, meaning that a critical can never cause you to do less damage than you normally would with a standard shot. So this then creates that and jumps it up to 200%. Other ones that are good that you can't get yet, like the Prime Efficient or Prime Station efficiencies for the next rung. So like if you're in G4, looking at those for like the G5, but those are 1,700 each. You also have the manufacturings for G5s that are pretty neato, and these cost 1,000 as well. So crit floor right now, especially with arena being something that we know they're going to be pushing for a while, if you want to improve your arena performance, and most PvP crews are using some level of crit, that would be one. So just thoughts. But there's the full list, and before anybody asks, yes, it is indeed in the Discord. This is the Prime list that Silvus has been working with me on, and we've been using this to really push the overlords to get more free-to-play primes. Currently, there are 116 primes available free-to-play, 72 that are not, 188 total. That's a good percentage. Obviously, we want all of them to be that way, but since when we started this, it was around 30%. It was around 30% of the primes were available free-to-play when we started this push, and now it's essentially double. There's still plenty that need a route, but when people say Scopely doesn't listen, and look, I gripe at Scopely more than I think anybody that has a camera in front of their face. If anybody gripes at Scopely more that has a camera, please let me meet them, because I think I'm the best at griping at them. But I will give them huge praise when they listen, and clearly have listened when it comes to sourcing primes, and I'm greatly appreciative of that. And I have to give them, I'll even give them a golf clap for it. I think it's fantastic that they've listened to that point, and it's definitely changed players' games in a positive way. Hopefully they continue to listen to things like that. That means I gripe less, which is good. Everybody likes Rev griping less. It's annoying to listen to Ginger's gripe. Who wants to listen to Ginger's gripe? All right. Learning to accept that there are things that you either don't want to do or can't do will make you happy and make you want to play the game again. I agree. Again, I preach so much against ignoring FOMO. So much so that I made a hat for my merch store that says it. You don't have to buy Rev's merch. If you do like the merch, feel free to pick you up one. But I did make one because I want it to be known, like, hey, y'all don't have to get stuck in this trap. Where's my hat? Here's my hat. Yeah, y'all don't have to get stuck in the trap. Bam. Ignore FOMO. Have fun. Just because it exists doesn't mean you have to do it. Just because it exists doesn't mean you have to do it. Do what you want to do. Have fun. Because like we said before on other streams, you're never going to catch up, right? Like, catching up is a pit. You know, it's a lie. You're never going to catch up in this game, right? There's always something coming out. So don't worry about it. Do what you want to do. Do what you enjoy. Find what makes you better. So, the scope of listens, tell them to add Prodigy. It would be great if they add Prodigy, Chris. Agreed. Agreed. Tiberius says they add the ones that don't have much value anymore because of power creep. Of course. But there's still plenty of free-to-play ones that have been released here lately that have a ton of value. You know, the one that we just pointed out, the Crypt Floor, that has a ton of value right now. Are there older ones that get made available that don't have as much of a purpose? Sure. Everything has a ranking system of value. A great example is the Mirror Universe primes. The Mirror Universe sources a lot of primes. Are all of those equally valuable? Of course not. You can even see the ones that I'm not really going after right now. Like, I'm not touching the Prime Repair Particle. That's probably the last one I'm going to go after personally. But the away teams, that's super good. I mean, you get a cheap one very early on. I think within like a couple of weeks of doing my mirror pulls with the NSEA, I got the first one for away teams, and that was an extra away team slot. I mean, that's valuable no matter what, but that was something you had to buy for, what, the past 4 years? Tibbs, you've been around a long time. Was it 4 years ago away teams came out? That Prime's been sitting there for 4 years, right? And that still has value today. Of course, they are obviously going to be more willing to do primes that have been around for a long time. And by nature, power creep is going to mean a lot of those probably have less value than they used to. But it's still free primes. It's still more research. And a lot of them can still have great value. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and say they all do. Of course, we're very picky and choosy about which ones we go after. Do we know when territory reset is happening? Tonight after maintenance, Ryan. Tonight after maintenance. You already have 7 to 18 AT slots at higher levels, so getting another is minimal. To you, it's minimal. To me, it's not minimal at all. That's huge. I mean, from a mathematical standpoint, that's a lot more Latinum, et cetera, a day. But it depends on where you're at. I mean, for me, let's just use a one-day mission as an example, or even a 12-hour mission. Let's just say I got to do this one every day extra that I wasn't able to. Well, that's 800 faction credits I wasn't getting every day that now I'm getting. You know, that's more. More is more. That's more spots that spawn. That's more spots that you can rotate to get better missions. I mean, more is more. I think that's very impactful, especially for our players who don't spend a lot of money or spend any money. the ability to get any of these missions improves their gameplay. So it would be nice to have a bit more notice. In terms of the maintenance coming, David, sure. Yeah, agreed. And of course, I'll give y'all's informations about those when it happens. But yeah, they did put a post in game today. I don't know if you've seen it yet, David. It might require a reboot. But Tibbs, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. I would just say mathematically, there's no reason to say that's not a good prime. Like that's if you are trying to be efficient in the game, and keep in mind that most of my viewers are free to play and low spenders. I mean, it's huge for them, but it depends on where you're at. There are some things that have little to no value to other players, and that's okay. I mean, there are people out there who don't do PvP, refuse to do PvP, don't care about it. So me, just a few minutes ago, talking about the prime critical floor, that does nothing for them. So they would then look at things like the efficiency researches and be saving to 1,700 of that prime particle. So you're a light spender. Yeah, most of my accounts are light spender. The account that I spend the most amount of time on, if you're a purist, you won't call it free to play because I bought the extra builder and the extra researcher. But the account I spend the most time on right now is server 710, and it's a very different experience. So, crit floor is still good for Zindy. See, I would actually say no, it's not good for Zindy because you don't need it. If you're at the point where you're getting that particle, you probably have the NX-01, and if you have the NX-01, you're never touching an Interceptor Zindy ever again because you're using the cheese cruise. So, again, it depends on the player, where you're at. What do you have? What have you unlocked? And I think the big thing for me is just these have value to somebody. Even if they don't have value to Tips, or they don't have value to Felix, who says they're free to play and a non-PvPer. They have value to somebody, and that's why I'm excited to have them come in. I don't expect everything to have value to everybody, though. That would be a ridiculous expectation. You touched plenty of interceptors for the SLB that just ended. See, Jerry? There you go. But Chrono, if you're still here, out of curiosity, how many people participated in the SLB that just ended? Because I did not. I'm now curious. How many people participated in that SLB that Jerry just referenced? I'm curious if you tracked it. If you didn't, no worry. With it just ending, maybe you have the numbers handy. But like that's something that me and most players don't even look at. Don't even pay attention to. But I love that people are winning them. So yeah, where's see if I can find mine. And yes, I'm old. I trimmed my nose hair and now it's like stabbing the inside of my nose and it itches. And it's annoying. What was it in, Echoes or Symbiosis? Which one was it in? Which one was it in? Took 31st. Nice. The prime crit floor works against any. Prime crit floor works against anything because it's simply meaning that your floor for critical damage cannot drop below a certain point. So it works for everything. All right, long con. Yeah, thank you. So many buckets. But here you go. Rev did not score at all. Didn't bother. And there's my bracket. 90 people bothered in my SLB. So it didn't even fill out the SLB. But I didn't bother. Doesn't mean it's bad to have participated in that event. Please, I hope nobody takes that as me saying you shouldn't have done it. I just don't do that. No, I didn't. That's just me. So I'm curious how many people participated. Samo says she did it, but that should surprise no one. Oh, it doesn't. No, I know that you grinded. If I had to guess, you'd be on the list of people who did it. That's fine. James says I did one run and got and finished 12th. I think that's great. For me, it's a time thing, as it is with a lot of y'all, and it's just not high on my priority list. There are times where I'll do grind SLBs, and this is going to sound really weird to y'all. If it would have happened on a Monday, I absolutely would have done it. Why? Because I would have been streaming, and that would have been content that I could do while I was streaming. But on Tuesday, there are other things that I have to do. I have actually less time to play the game on like Tuesdays and Thursdays than I do on Wednesdays, Fridays, etc. So on those days, something like a grind SLB comes out, I personally don't have time to do it, but I do on other days. So it just depends on, again, we're really reinforcing that there's unique gameplay for everybody, and you got to find what works for you. So yeah, I'm curious what those numbers are. Very curious. use it as a reason to work on that 10K field training. There you go, BJ. I see the logic. So why aren't you doing Gorn right now? Because I do things, I have a methodology, Erwin, where I do things in a certain order. For me, the primary thing to do when I log into account, no matter what the events are, dailies first. Do the dailies. Doesn't matter what the events are. Events can be the greatest events in the world. The events could literally be paying off my mortgage. Okay, if the events paid off my mortgage, I'd do the events. But dailies first, period. Then battle pass, period. Don't worry about the events. I've at least done dailies and then battle pass. And then I go, okay, what are the events I can do that are beneficial to me? So that's just the order that I operate from. That's why I haven't even gone and been like, oh, let's go do this one. Because honestly, this is not a bad payout for me. I mean, for between the 5-star, especially getting some rares, etc. But I'm not even going to bother with that. I could have technically done this with my Corvus, but I'm not going to bother with it until later. I'm going to do everything first, and then technically now I can start focusing on all these other SMSs and SLBs. All right. Let's see. Just finished second with 4.1 million points. Very nice, Valhalla. Very nice. Very, very nice. It's been a few minutes to make sure there aren't events I can complete while doing dailies. That makes sense, Skeeve. But that event should be pretty daggum easy to do. For me, at level 53, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hit level 60 hostiles with a Corvus. I'm going to hit level 60 freebooters with a Corvus, and it's going to take me like 2 hits. So that one isn't going to shoot me in the foot too bad for not having coordinated with my dailies. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to be as efficient as possible. I mean, heck, we've preached that for years, right? We've preached that for years. Are you going after Picard, Hugh, and the Doctor? No. 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 Do Doritos. Doritos. Gosh, I got to keep up with everything. I do need to... I got to switch all these around again. I got to switch all these around. Because I have everything still set up for arenas. I'm going to have to actually start using these. Set these up for arenas. Ay, ay, ay. All right. We'll just have to do it the old school way. We have to do it manually. Got an STFC commercial. Very nice. You love your presets. I'm glad, Erwin. I hate the below deck portion of the presets, and I've just not gone and done presets to get everything. So let's do you, and you. We'll do that. And then where's our Monavine? We need to send our Monavine out, so let it start auto grinding. We'll just send it out here. You have a love-hate relationship with your presets? Same. You know, like my friend Lube. Lube loves presets, including the lower decks, and I love that for him. It just my brain just does not accept it. It does not like it. I'm a weirdo. But we do need to go and swap to our Cerritos, so we can get my Cerritos daily done, or Cerritos event rather done. And I need to figure out what I'm gonna be doing here in a second. We'll be boosting these. Let's get to the chat, because chat's big. Again, if y'all have any questions about arenas, if you have any feedback about arenas, make sure you put it in the survey we have. And if you have any questions about the territory reset, feel free to drop them in, because I'm trying to get to as much as possible. Because there's 350 people here, let me go ahead and remind y'all something exciting happening today. I have to confirm it's happening. Let me do that right now. But today is the interview with the level 62 who is free to play. Now, just to remind y'all, for the people that are going to gripe, not true free to play, because technically $40 has gone into the account. You want a free battle pass from a content creator, and he bought a $20 Devore pack back when he was in the 20s. So it's technically not a pure free to play account, but I'm sorry. It's impressive that with $40, they're level 62. So we're going to have an interview with them going through what they did to push up, what they find valuable, what works for them. And then we're also going to have a special guest who's going to be there as well. And I need to go make sure that we're still good for that and confirm that, because that's actually very soon. Cool. Confirming that. So now but I say that, Kermit, because I've actually had people be like, well, that's not a pure free to play. So he spent $40. He's worlds beyond where we are. I'm like, no, I don't agree with that. But yeah. Well, we'll do the interview today, and then it's going to take a while to edit that video. But yeah, that's going to be fun. Sugar Fat Misses, they were helped by the extra lat from the treasury, but I think that's acceptable as a free to play. That's true, because them spending did improve their treasury. Did indeed. Yep, absolutely. But I'm not going to hide any of that. Like, I'm not going to try to sneak it under the rug for anybody and be like, hey, this person didn't spend a dime, they're 62. I'm going to be very open with it, but I still think that that's enough to apply to 99% of people who play that style. So, yeah. And Tiberius, you're right. The zero spin treasury is horrible, but exception, caveat, even the zero spin treasury gives you the officers at the same payout rate, which is still good. That's still good. You just got to make sure you save your free treasury always for an officer treasury, never waste it on a ship parts treasury. So always do it officers. Did he spend for the extra build or ship? Nope. He does not have the extra build or the extra ship. Like, he doesn't have extra docks. He doesn't have extra builder. He doesn't have extra researcher. So, are those officers worth it if you're not much for PvP? If you're not much for PvP, no. Phlox does have some use. In fact, Phlox gets used against silence for a lot of people with things like Pipe Moreau Phlox. But do you need it? No, you don't. I mean, it's a solid choice. I don't think it's a bad choice of officers, but if you're not PvP, meh. Probably not. You might want to wait. Those are $5. So an extra builder, the first extra builder in the game is $5. The first extra researcher is $20. Were the major changes in TC? Trevi, they are changing around the services basically in every territory. So like where the phantom generators are, the Surex particles, the quantum particles, all those for the most part are moving. So that's the biggest thing that's happening. Let me actually swap this to a Corvus real quick. We're going to go do what we just talked about, finishing that event. And I'm going to boost it so we can work on finishing our Cerritos event at the same time. Oh, absolutely, mate. And again, definitely not going to try to hide any of that, because getting a better treasury, and even if you're free to play grinding, that's going to help. So we won't let it be known. But I've also said this before, people would be surprised the amount of people that have spent money in this game, because we talk about free to play. In most games, we're talking about people who don't spend a dime make up the overwhelming majority of the game. That's not the case in Star Trek Fleet Command. Take a look in the mirror and realize that almost all of y'all are like me, where you're like 35 or above, you've got expendable income, and you're willing to throw $5, $10, $20 at the game, but you're not willing to do what, say, ECO, Panda, etc. did, which is pay to be at level 70. You're going to run into just as many people who have spent something versus people who have spent nothing, which is very, very rare in a mobile game. Very, very rare. Very, very rare. Kia Pilot says that to me is the most impressive, not having the extra researcher or builder. It is impressive. OOC says they spend 20 to $50. Yeah, totally fair. I mean, it just is what it is. And that's not shaming anybody. Spend what you want to. I don't care if you spend. It's your money, not my money. But we're in a weird game compared to most like other games in this market where more people spend on here as a percentage than you generally see. Thanks for the video today. Definitely going after the G5 Innovative Engineering. Saved myself 300,000 faction credits on my Sound Pack. Very nice, Valhalla. That would be great. I mean, that's a lot of faction credits, isn't it? Math is math. You spend on average $250 a year on the game. And honestly, and Hani, given the amount of time you spend in the game, that's a really good dollar to entertainment ratio. There we go. See, there we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We'll say one real quick thing. Stupid bar, go away. Stop it. Okay, we get it. I score. Thank you. One thing that is bugging me, it doesn't tell me what mission this is. It just says daily goals claimed. I'm hoping that gets fixed in the patch tonight. Like, tell me the mission. Stupid banners. How many times do you have to press the claims chest? Well, one, but I just did it in one. But there has been an issue where you have to double click it sometimes. Is it Dekix? No, I will not be interviewing Dekix. Not that Dekix is a bad person, but Dekix is not who I'm interviewing. So let's see. Enjoy the game. If you get joy out of something you bought, have fun with it. If you can do it without spending, still have fun. Absolutely, Felix. One thing that I've always been strict on my channel, we're not going to shame anybody for their play style. If they don't want to spend a dime, more power to you. If you want to spend a lot of dimes, more power to you. Do what you want to do. Almost got it. Awesome, Chrono. I'm very excited to see what those numbers are. King of Reapers here. Glad to see you back streaming. It's good to see you stay safe. Well, Eric, I never stopped streaming. I mean, I didn't stream like last Friday night because I had a date night with my wife. It was our second date in the past 4 months. Things are getting kind of serious, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. We've had 2 dates in 4 months. And that's all thanks to people like y'all, because we were able to do that because y'all donated. Let's be honest. Because people donated, we were able to go on a date. What does that mean? Well, I have 3 kids, and if we want to go out, whether we take them, then we got to buy all of them food, or we get a babysitter, that's money. And if y'all have kids out there, y'all know what it's like. Babysitters are not cheap in 2024. We went to a hockey game, Erwin. Here, I put up a picture somewhere. Let me go grab the picture. Sorry. I did confirm the timing on the interview, but I'm an idiot. Just laugh at Rev. If you're over there and you're watching from afar, just like, Rev, you're an idiot. Laugh at him. All right. When was baby naming competition start? Hopefully not, because Rev can't afford more babies. Rev can't afford more babies. All right, let me pull up a picture. So here is from date night for those who are ever interested and curious. So we went to a hockey game together. That's me and the wife at the hockey game. It was fun. Hockey team got their butts kicked. Our team lost 7-2, but we went together. It was nice, and a big thank you to all those who do donate to the channel. Y'all allowed that to happen, because this night, between hockey tickets and babysitter, I think it was like $300, which is why we don't go almost ever. So big thank you to those that happened. They play hockey in the Bayou. Flashman, Louisiana has 3 hockey teams. 4 hockey teams. Yeah. Louisiana, I know they have 3 for sure. I think we have 4. We have one in Baton Rouge, our capital, the Baton Rouge Zydeco. We have one in Shreveport, which is the Bossier Shreveport Mudbugs. We have one in Monroe called the Monroe Moccasins. And then I thought there's one in Lafayette, but I could be wrong. But yes, there is indeed hockey in Louisiana. I know it's crazy to think about. And yes, Rev is a hockey fan. So there you go. I would argue hockey is the most fun sport to go to in person. I'm not saying it's my favorite sport, but especially minor league hockey, it's my favorite sport to attend in person. Love it. Love attending hockey games. I love attending minor league hockey more than I do professional hockey. Those sound like made up teams. All teams are made up, Jerry. Yes. Yeah. It's an opportunity then to go to a Predators game in Nashville. I didn't really have time, but I do love hockey. I mean, I got to spend so much time with y'all in Nashville. That was really neat. Hopefully we get to do more of those quite soon. Let's go back into my events real quick and see what all I've missed while I've been talking to y'all. But yeah, if y'all ever enjoy learning random things about Rev, there's your random thing about Rev for the day. Hockey fan. Hockey fan. All right, so there we got that going. Let's go check our buckets real quick. See what our currency is today. All right, Gorn. So we need to go do Gorn today. We can do that, but I'm going to switch which ship we're using for Gorn. We're not going to be using our Corvus. We shall be using our Eviscerator. And then we'll probably end up having to use our Pylon. But I need to level up the Eviscerator, so we're going to use the Eviscerator. And away we go. Use the juice. You're a baseball fan? Chicago Cubs. Baseball fan. Sadly, ice hockey not real big in the Netherlands. Conventional hockey is, though. Conventional hockey. Like field hockey? Because to me, conventional hockey is ice hockey. That's hockey. Like if you go into most countries, I think they're going to assume when you say hockey, you're thinking ice hockey. Just like if you say football, most people aren't thinking of American football. Would you recommend going for the 3rd FC slot or unlocking Sloan plus Dane or Tolee in the short term? So Great question. I will have a video this week about what I suggest people go after in their event store. But spoiler alert, the extra FC slot is like number one because it's a paid only item. So yes, I do recommend going after FC slot if you don't already have it. I ended up getting that. So there's mine. So this is the paid slot that I got with the last event store. Would recommend everybody get that if they haven't already. Nothing's gonna add to the event store. Not that I've been able to confirm. I'm waiting to hear back, but if I don't hear back, then nope. Nope. 42,000 people did the Long Cons Indie event. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. All right, so just running numbers real quick, because that is a 40 plus. I'm just going to use the same numbers that you did yesterday, Chrono, because I'm curious. So you said 42,100. And then I think it was about this. So let's just say roughly, it roughly translates to about 41% of the game. So 11% more people who could did the SLB than PvP arenas. Numbers. Numbers are fun. Numbers are fun. Still not even half the game, though. Or not even half the people that could do it, rather. That's still an impressive number of people. How's one crew the Eviscerator optimally? Best crew for me I found is Janeway with E-Data, E-Picard. Well, I actually run that, but Picard's my captain. Because I don't want the loot. Give me the loot. I want all that juicy loot. So mine is actually the same crew, but I've got Picard as captain. Because I want the loot. Yeah, still 16 hours more for Zindy event. Yeah, Ski, that's actually what's kind of impressive is it's why when people have gone in my Discord, I actually had someone like be insulting to me today about arenas. Like, how can you say anybody like this? Because, well, that's a great example, Ski. In a 24-hour period, 42,000 people did the Zindy SLB, which is only 10% more than the arenas, which was an 8-hour window. So clearly arenas was not like so ungodly bad that nobody likes it, nobody wanted it. So that's I'm always trying to find the truth in the balance of the answer, right? Always trying. GSK says they run Enterprise Picard 5 Chapel. Nothing wrong with that as a run. I like more loot, so I got to have at least one synergization, which is why I have data. And then I run Janeway for just more ISO. I don't probably need to do that anymore. I was doing it because the Gorn Eviscerator just was not pumping out enough damage. Now that it's finally tearing up a little bit, I don't really need to do that. Can I save the Trill Emblems and spend them later when I have higher ops level to buy blueprints? No, Lars. The Trill Emblems are for this event store. Spend them this month. Do not hold on to them and like hope to use them 6 months from now. Tiberius, who's been here for 400 hours. Tiberius, who's been here for 400 hours. 400 years, rather, can confirm they don't last. Now, Tim did say, but Arena was 3 separate events. Yeah, but it was 8 hours per, right? So it was only, so because it was separated by region in 8 hours, there's only so many players that you could grab. So here's how we do the numbers, Tibbs. We take the numbers of active players, 40 plus, from each region. And then we go, okay, here's the total number of players who could have participated. And then we'll divide that by the number, we'll divide the number that did by that bigger number and get the percentage. But because each region was limited to 8 hours, it's equal. Whereas the 24-hour is simply 3 times longer for everybody across the board with the same number of people. So you had an event that gave you 3 times as much time, but only resulted in 10% more participation. So, because Arena was 8 hours, period. Right? Like the arena was not 24 hours for everybody because there was only an 8-hour participation window. So it was still 8 hours for everybody, even if the time frame persisted over a longer period of time. Arena repair tokens need to be higher. I agree, Ski. That's a big feedback that is in the Form, if y'all haven't done it already, would encourage y'all to do the form. And not only encourage, I don't care if you've got positive, negative, please, 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 because this feature is such a big deal. Don't feel like somebody else is giving their opinion, I shouldn't give mine. Give your opinion. Get your alliance to give their opinion. If your alliance hated it, I don't care if you get all 60 people, 80 people in your alliance to come through and say they hate it. Or if your alliance loved it. Get everybody to do it. That way we can go to the overlords and be like, look, you need to make these changes immediately, quick, fast, and in a hurry. So apparently I've been just clicking on things here in the background. But yeah, just click whatever. If you're level 51 from the EU and you hated it, post it. If you were 51 and from the US and thought it was okay, post it. Post it. And then you can give feedback on time and whether it was valuable to you, what needs to change. For example, the running the PvP arena longer than 8-hour windows is a question that said, do you feel any of these would improve arenas? This is the one that's gotten the most response. That one right there. So it's important for content creators to know this information, but more importantly, it's important for Scopely to get that from the players, because I'm trying to say this in the least argumentative way possible. Do y'all want to know what this survey is based off of? Anybody curious? This is based off of it's not an exact copy, but they gave this to the VIPs. Did you get a mail that asked you for a survey on arenas? Did anybody, if you're in the VIP, of course you did, but did any of you other folks, level 45s, get sent the survey? No. So I think it's important that y'all's opinion, everybody's opinion, get registered. So, is there a display bug issue happening? Multiple devices I've used this morning and no loot is displaying. Well, Brigadier, there is a display issue with Wave mirror waves, and that is supposedly and hopefully getting fixed with tonight's patch. Really want to do the new content, but I'm underpowered. If I do it anyway. I mean, I would say do it anyway. It depends on what you're trying to work on. Like, how are you overpowered? Or how do you feel underpowered? What is it that you're specifically going after? Like, are you just talking about PvP arenas? Or so how's one become a VIP? Lots of money. Yeah, lots of money. And again, I think that they should have surveys. Like, I really meant what I said before. I'm not trying to like target the VIPs and say they're bad or anything. They absolutely should get a survey. But I think everybody else should also be able to put in their opinion if they participated. Hence me creating this one. So, yeah, I mean, VIPs absolutely should be able to give their feedback and opinion. I mean, they play the game. They absolutely should. But so should the random 42 who has spent $15 in 6 years. All right, let's see. Converge says, what I enjoy the most about the arena is when the match was over, or when the match was even rather, are players that took a slow and steady approach one time and time again against people that skip ships, focus on ops pushing. Bingo bango. Scopa doesn't realize it, but they just created a feature that just screams, do what Rev says. I love it. Oh, man. Did you figure out how to get to be VIP? I mean, that's very simple. You spend enough money. I know who to tell to invite you into the Discord. So I know who to tell to invite you in. The claim bug window has already been solved by a client update on PC. They got the correct banner. Nice, Scrunch. Good to know. Well, clearly then I need to reboot because mine isn't fixed yet. Do VIPs also participate in your survey? Yes, because my goal is to get everybody's opinion, right? So, and John, I can tell you because I know what level you are. How about I tell you how many people your level have participated? I'm sure you're curious. All right, John. So the number of players of your level that have participated, 40-ish, that are level 65 and above have participated. So 40-ish have participated that are your level or above. That's the number of people. Got a shock in the arena when we came up against an Ops 50 with a 350 million powered Enterprise. Dave, I wish I still had it. I'm sure the log is long gone. But the biggest ship I've ever seen from a level 50 Do I still have the logs from that day? Nope, I don't. But the biggest ship I've ever seen from level 50 was during arenas. And sadly, it's rolled off, looks like. But, wait, has it? I don't know, maybe it hasn't. Let's see if we find, if y'all see Jin, let me know. Hold on, I might still have it. Thank God for them adding 300 logs. It would be Jin. Oh, there's Jin. Is this it? Nope, that's not it, though that is a big Tribune. There's a big Tribune. Was it Hootman? Not that one. I beat that one. That was a big Enterprise A. Ooh, good golly, Miss Molly. Was it Salty Pirates? It's the ship I'm looking for, but not the right power. All right, let's try this one. There we go. That's the biggest ship I've ever seen from a level 50 player. That's a level 50 player. That's a level 50 player. Right there. 800 million. That's the biggest ship I've ever seen from a level 50. That one. That's the biggest. That's the biggest level 50 ship I've ever seen. And I'll hide the donation bar. Y'all think I'm lying to y'all. I'm not lying to you. That's a level 50 player. Now, context for those curious. This is a level 50 player on an ops locked server that is a spender. But that is a heavy spender. That's a heavy spender. But I'm not insulting them with that. It's just a statement. But that is a level 50 player with a big old NSCA protector. Also, let me get to Brigadier Jones' comment. Appreciate you, by the way. Happening at the moment in the last of the Zindi, and right now Gorn SLBs for me, no loot is showing. Brigadier, so what has likely happened is you've probably hit the limit. Have you hit the limit? Remember, there is a hostile limit and a loot limit. So have you hit the limit of the amount that you can get in a day? So anyway, this is the biggest ship from a 50 I've ever seen, and I gave Jin kudos. Like, that's awesome. I mean, there's spending, but then there's spending effectively. That's clearly an example of spending effectively. But yeah, Kermie, it's a material locked, not ops locked. So the NSCA could, in theory, as you see, get larger and larger because it's not ops locked. It is mats locked. Which is, by the way, that's a great example of one of the reasons that Scopely does create ops locks, because of that. That's why Scopely makes ops locks for so many ships. Where'd you say the TC change list was on the Discord? Naldi, let me show you real quick. More than happy to help you out. Appreciate you. You're amazing. All of you are amazing. If you're here, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. But if you go into my Discord, let me put it up on the screen so everybody can see. It is in the Fleet Command Announcements channel. If you just go on the left tab, it's in the Fleet Command Announcements channel. It was on the 14th, and it's this text box. You just drop down, hit the expand, and you can see all the generators, construction yards, etc. that are changing. So it is under my Fleet Command official announcements. My most recent one was about the survey, and then I had one about participating in the arenas, and then we had this one. So I try to push out as much info as I can to y'all, because obviously as players, y'all deserve to be as informed as possible. So there we go. That's where it's at. And again, if you don't use Discord, I do realize there's some of y'all out there. Hit me up, and I'll try to send it to you just manually, like as a text file. When is the hostile limit reset? Great question, Margin. It is midnight Eastern Standard Time, or 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Somebody in chat's going to correct me, but it's around then. At midnight EST? Might be midnight, because right at reset. Right around there. Good to see you, Nicholas. How are you? Patrick says, hostile limit when event to kill uppers 2K. Through more, add on more event. Okay, Patrick, you're just griping. Who's griping? It's 1 a.m. EST for another couple weeks. Thank you, Tiberius. Appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, there's an NSEA in here. Don't see those grinding up here very often, but yeah, there's an NSEA in here. Uh-oh. Hi. What your corn are there doing, Trib? Hey, Trib. All right, what else we got question-wise? It's been a very informative episode. I'm proud of us for staying on topic and keeping everybody informed. So, it's been good. There's 400 people here, so if you are here, hit the like button. It's greatly appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so we can get you all the answers that you deserve. Now I am being political. You deserve better. All right. November 3rd, we changed the clocks. You know what's annoying? Daylight savings time. But you know what is more annoying, Tibbs? The fact that daylight savings time is different in different countries. That's very annoying. The UK has different daylight savings time than the US. Like, I'm going to need the world to get their stuff together. We literally have a reusable booster now. Like, going to Mars is becoming like more than science fiction, and we can't even get our times right. Stupid world. Stupid world. All right. That's the case, Rev. Can you go in and gripe at Scopa to increase the loot limit to 5K? Oh, don't worry, Brigadier. I've been griping at them that the limit shouldn't be 2K for a while now. I don't see the logic is preventing and stopping botters, but yeah, I just think it hurts people. I think it hurts people. Patrick, yeah, mirror waves should be fixed. I'm using air quotes. Should be fixed with tonight's patch. The Mad, 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 Mad World, as the song goes. I don't think I know that song. But I believe you. Because you would never lie to me, Samo. Better ways of stopping botters? Completely agree. Again, I don't like their logic that they've used to justify the limit. But they have risen the limit before. So let me see if I can find it. The last time I brought this up to them, I can look it up. Because I actually brought this up semi-recently, and I used the argument, y'all have risen it before. You need to do it again. Let me see. The last time I brought it up. Okay. Not the last time I brought it up, but the last time I had a conversation with them that was actually more than me just saying it. Like explaining it to them, getting to actually go through it was June 13th. So probably time for me to bug them again. And if you are a content creator out there, and I know there's two of them that I see in my Discord, I see in my YouTube chat right now. I see two of them. Y'all need to be griping too. Okay? Welcome. You want to be a content creator? Get to work.
It's not all fun and games. You've got stuff to do. You have a responsibility, Samo, Tiberius, to do more than play rain sounds on your stream. Fix the game!
But for real, they don't listen to you. They don't listen to anybody. It's persistence. Like if you yell at them enough, they finally relent. It's like, here's how you have to be, Samo Tiberius. You have to basically be the 5-year-old where you scream and throw a tantrum enough to where the parents finally have a mental break and give you what you're asking for. That's what you have to do. Do it. Do it. Be a 5-year-old. I know you can do it, Tiberius. I believe in you. Can't even get them to answer me about where the group photo is from Nashville. Okay. You're not bugging them enough, Tiberius. You're not being enough of a 5-year-old. You got to be better at being a 5-year-old. That's all I got to say, man. I believe you can be a better 5-year-old. I'm not trying to be mean, but I believe that you can be a better 5-year-old. Just saying. I think chat agrees. Chat, if you agree, type this. Tibbs, be a 5-year-old. I need everybody in chat to type, Tibbs, be a 5-year-old. Let him know that he can do it. I believe in him. Like repeatedly asking, are we there yet in the car? My daughter's toxic trait is she'll come to me and I'll say no. And then she'll be really, really quiet. And she'll go to her mom and she'll whisper, Mommy, can I? Stop it! Anyway. It works. It works. Tibbs, be a 5-year-old. I love the chat right now. Somebody take a screenshot of this and post it every time Tibbs says he can't do anything. Can we get the whip yet, Scrunch? We'll keep asking, I promise. I know Tiberius has brought that up before. I know Samo's brought it up before. We all want more. We all want more for Ringy Whip. Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Tibbs, be a 5-year-old. And pee your pants. Thank you, John, for contributing to the stream. Thank you. Appreciate y'all so much. And by the way, Sato, good to see you. We always love our first timers in tonight. Welcome in, or middle of the day, actually. I don't know if you are in Europe. If you are in Europe, it's good night. If you are in the US, it's the middle of the day. More is more, exactly. And I will say this, the more people that we have, especially as content creators, reinforcing the same things, which by the way, Tiberius, I know, shouted out my survey in his stream. Samo, please feel free to do the same. I would love the content creators, because all content creators can have access to my information. I'm not special. Everybody here can have it. But the arena feedback, all this is made more impactful by the more people that come together, right? The more people that unite in a voice, the more likely you are to get changes. The Prime thing is a great example, right? Even though it was, I would say, my initiative, like it's something I push really strongly for. DJ was talking about it. Obviously, Jules, Blue, Silvis, etc. Samo would bring it up. Lou would just constantly over time bring it up in the dev chats, etc. Bringing it up to, Hammy, whoever they get a hold on, and eventually it broke through. So, Brick says, how can I score in the current SLB for the Gorn if I can't collect the loot, which requires you to collect the loot to score? Short answer, if you've hit the limit, you can't. Short answer, if you've hit the limit, you cannot. So, yeah. Wait until tomorrow morning. Yeah, with tips. So technically, if you're a really, really diehard player, you could, in about 12 hours from now, start again. In about 12 hours from now, you would then have an opportunity to do 2,000 more hits if you wanted to. Not saying I recommend it, just letting you know what's available to you. The limit will reset before the event ends, so you can score more, but you probably aren't going to win, though. Probably not me. But again, if they want to go after it, I do want them to know what their options are. Any chance of lower levels being included in the arena event? That is one of the pieces of feedback that I am going to bring up to them, Cheyenne. It's actually in the survey. Even though my survey is designed to be done by players 40 plus, one of the pieces is allowing G3 players to participate in arenas, essentially lowering who all can jump in. Now, I don't know how that would work, as if you could get Scopely to let those players access those favors and those officers. But I'm still going to push for it if that's what people want. So, yeah. Just use the free vault to upgrade my ships, and also got a ton of research done. Just spent so much tritanium, so much tritanium, over 13 billion. Oh, Seth, 13 billion tritanium. Perspective is such an amazing thing. Because 13 billion tritanium would do nothing for me, but for you is probably a heck of a lot. Scaling. All right, let's see how far I made it here. I'm almost done. I've almost finished. We're going to do one more run. And I actually needed to do this with a Gorn Eviscerator anyway, because I needed the primary Eviscerator currency. So let's go finish it up. You want low levels to PvP Arena? It'd be nice, at least for something like Ops 35. So in my survey, I put 32 just because that's when the rare ships become available. And that would also include the epics. But I mean, I do really feel for all of our lower level players who don't get new content, right? Part of me enjoys it. Like on server 710, I love that I don't have the constant FOMO I'm fighting. At the same time, I forgot to Cerritos the ship. At the same time, I get it. People want to do the current content, and it makes sense. So, abort cube. Well, I'm about to die to Fishy fool. Fishy about to fish me. Fishing me straight out the river. He about to fish me straight out the river with a big old cube. How big is this cube? Oh, only 1 billion. I know that's a billion, but it's honestly not a very large cube. Still way bigger than anything I've got. All right, how about tightening up the ops range? So, I actually have no issues with 55s going against 45s. I have issues with Sigma coming down. Not that Sigma are bad people, there's just no combating that. But you can combat, like G4s can fight G5s. Are they at a disadvantage? Yes, but there's still a semblance of balance. There's no balance inside Sigma. There's also no balance inside Sigma. Like a 70 is going to walk a 66, no combat. Like it just, but I mean, a great example is if you watch my stream, I got beat by G4 groups twice. So while I do agree that matchmaking can be better, and I do think matchmaking will naturally get better for most players as you get more and more people ranking, That way people get elevated to like gold and stuff, and you're likely not going to fight a gold if you're in bronze. But some of those I don't think are as much of an issue, right? Like I was beating up on a 59 and I'm a 53. So do your servers have any row, and what do you think of row? I think row as a whole is harmful to the game. If you're just asking my personal opinion. And when I say row, I'm saying server based. You have to do this or you're terrible, right? I'm not saying you having rules of engagement is bad, but I am vehemently against large server based rows. If an alliance or individual alliances want to have their own thing, completely okay. Short answer, does server 20 have a universal row? No. Does server 710 have a universal row? No. Are there rows? Absolutely. There are absolutely rules. Like, for example, I joined this alliance, Epic, because I wanted to do PvP arenas with a larger group. They told me, you cannot come into our alliance and hunt OPC and token space. And I said, I will make that trade. I will do arenas with y'all, and I will not touch token space until I decide to leave. So I agree to their alliance rules, but if I go to IA or if I go to Chaos, I can do whatever I want within reason. Like I can hunt OPC and territory. I can hunt OPC and token space. So I have no issues with alliances having rules. If you're asking me personally, I do not agree with server-wide, you have to do this or we ostracize you. Not a fan of that. So then I go click this. And like there's no server I've played on where I have not hit OPC and token space. It's just how I play. Do you still get hunted? Depends on the server. Some yes, some no. Just got my first transporter patterns. You can either get Kane, Crass, or Khan with them. What do you recommend? If you have transporter patterns, you can get a lot more than those. I see you, Fishy. Go watching the stream and hitting things. Fishy, you're not slick. I hit this. You got the automated defense to save yourself. And see, that's smart. There are tools to beat me. Like if I see an automated defense on something, I'm not going to hit it. I'm going to leave it alone unless I'm in a very powerful PvP ship. I'm going to... Oh, Fishful's not stream watching. He's got a ship there. All right, I'll just go into the 46 one and stay away from Fishy. Going into Epic, by the way, Epic is at war with IA, so he's just... It's not like he's being a butt. He's just doing the game. Let's go down here real quick. Nick says, we have row. OPC's OPC now, but not in token or territory. Everywhere else is good. There you go. Whatever works for y'all. Whatever works for you as a player in your group. Absolutely. Absolutely. My team of G5s and G4s beat a team of G6s, but speed crewing everywhere and just outrunning them. And there's tactics. I was talking to ECO. For those that don't remember, ECO is currently the #1 player in the game by strength. Like he's the strongest player in the game. Yes, he's a very heavy spender, etc. And he was talking about having lower level teams push him where his group almost lost, even though he's literally level 70 with max everything. How his team was having issues in arenas because of lower level players using really, really good strategy. So it just depends on what you're doing. Now, if you just go in there blindly with no coordination, yeah, you're probably going to struggle a little bit. The teams that are putting the time in to build strategies are the ones that are doing well. So, well, I see people get over GA about protecting G6 space on my server. Oh, gentlemen's agreements. Yeah, okay. I'm not used to seeing gentlemen's agreements shortened to GA, but yeah, gentlemen's agreements are, well, they're there. They're not new. I mean, gentlemen's agreements for things that are happening way back in 2019. But it's just all about how you want to play. And I'm never going to tell a server how to play. You know, y'all play however y'all come to an agreement. For me personally, I don't do universal row, but I think at the core, we all agree on basic concepts. I mean, 99.9% of players all agree you don't mess with somebody who's mining that has nothing of value. I mean, you don't hit UPC miners. Why? There's no point in it unless you just want to be a butt. So obviously there'll be a repercussion for being a butt. You know, I think a lot of things almost everybody agrees on. Then there are things that not everybody agrees on. So If I tier my Eviscerator to tier 7, do I lose G4 parts in the refinery? Let's pull up the Eviscerator. Let's see what we can show you the chart real quick of what you will have access to and what you will not have access to. Because pictures are great. So, if you go to G4, where is the window? Let's just use display capture. So it'll be right here. Yay, fancy Q finger. All right, so if you are level 61 and you hit tier 7, you lose G4. If you are under, so if you're G5, G4, or in this case G5, and you hit tier 7, you still have it. But if you're level 61, you lose G4, but you're getting G6. So that's how it works if you go tier 7. There you go. Boop. Back in. How would you do a big eat small type of stuff if there is no row? I have only one account, basically OPC's Ectopian. So I'm not really understanding what you're asking, LaPrem. What exactly are you asking? You can confirm with your tier 7 Gorn Ops 54. There you go. Yeah. I always like to bring up the charts, which, by the way, shout out to Quasel, Jules Verne, all the people who make all these great materials that we can then reference. Because Lord knows one person couldn't do it. I could not do all the videos, all the charts, etc. So I'm so grateful to have all these people who are putting these together. How's the payout for this event compared to others? Are you asking how the loot distribution is? So far, our current projected free-to-play loot is 250,000 as of like right now. 250 is the expected amount. That is better than Mirror Part 2, still worse than Gorn Part 2. Better than Enterprise Part 2. So it would be the second best event store this year if it continues on that amount. We'll see if that ends up being the case. We'll see. We'll wait and see. We're still tracking all the different ones. But right now it's a projected 250,000-ish for free to play. But it is higher than the last event store. Still projected, at least, again, we're only, what, halfway through. Are we even halfway through yet? Let's see. Our time, we've got 12 days left, right? So there's still a lot of time to see if anything gets added, if they do gifts, whatever. But it is more than the last event store, still less than the event store before that. We'll see if because what they've done in the past is the last week can sometimes be like a heavy week where there's more events, more loot. And we'll see if that's the case. Let's see where we're at time-wise. I do have to be mindful of the time, y'all, because I do have the interview that I gotta get it ready for. So I can't run long today. So make sure y'all get y'all's questions in here in the next few seconds. But if you don't worry, you can always hit me up on Discord if you want to get those in. So we're going to reload this page and just make sure I'm in the right room, because if I'm not, that's going to be a problem. Oh no, why did my YouTube stop working? Oh God, I can't see my chat. Use my phone. My YouTube froze. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't see y'all if I say anything. Give me a second. Let me pull this up on here. 1 second, y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate you. Stick with me. For some reason, it stopped working on my PC. I can't see anything. I gotta try to pull it up on here. All right, chat. I got you back. I got a Star Trek Fleet Command ad. That is not Star Trek Fleet Command. Nope. Look at that. Enterprise just loaded out with cannons. Can I rewind? I can't rewind it. This dude just had freaking cannons, just like it was a pirate ship. Oh my goodness. Anyway. I don't know why my YouTube page is frozen. That's a problem. But at least I've got chat here. That's the ads you saw. Go figure, right? Thank you, Flashman, for doing the survey. What are you using your event store currency for? I'll do a video on that this week. You'd love to play the STFC from the ads. Don't we always? What's the meaning of life? 42. Yeah, YouTube on the website is like super laggy. Let me try another browser. I mean, I can still read y'all here, but let me try another browser real quick. Let's see if it works better over here. YouTube's having a problem. Oh, it works fine here. Let me go to my live stream on Chrome. I was using Firefox. So let me just go here and pull up the chat. There we go. Now I can see y'all again. Welcome to the chat. Thank you, Andrew. Greatly appreciate it. Got some real life news. Oh, I'm happy to hear that, Raj. Have a dang good day. I'm hoping to, Mateo. I'm hoping to. Well, this little ridiculous here at the end kind of hit us on the time because we do need to wrap up. While you're here, before you head out, hit the like button if you want to support the channel. Obviously, this is never required, but it is appreciated because as you saw, you allowed me and my wife to go out on a date. Exclamation point donate. We have PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Never required, but tremendously appreciated. I got to go get ready for this interview so we can give you all this. I think y'all are going to enjoy hearing from a player who has made it into the 60s, not spending thousands of dollars. And if there's anything else I can help with, please let me know. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Y'all are all amazing. Till the next one, live long and plunder. Stay safe out there. Deuces, that's me. And yeah, we're out. I'll rotate this out. How am I going to turn this off? I don't even know.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.